of you, your understanding, okay, about copywriting? What do you understand from the word copywriting? Maybe boleh tulis di chat sahaja. Or how many of you, maybe saya reiterate my question. How many of you have heard the word copywriting? Pernah mendengar? Pernah dengar tak? What is copywriting? Okay. Right. So mungkin pernah dengar. Jadi it's not something new. Okay. Then my follow-up question is, what do you understand when people mention the word copywriting or copy? Okay. Okay, text. Syasha kata text. Lagi? Okay, Deborah says writing in marketing. Betul? Right? Any lagi ada idea lagi? Okay, so basically both answers from Shasha as well as Deborah is correct. Okay, copywriting is basically text lah, text or the writings that you use in marketing that you use to market a product, and it can comes in many forms lah. It can copywriting for digital form, copywriting for printed form. So it has been a long industry, long way. It's not new. Okay. Previously, probably people do their copywriting on newspaper or magazines or billboards and so on. But now, as the digital era comes in and becomes more intensified, there is more needs for digital copywriter, right? The more platforms you have, like you have Facebook and then you have Instagram, the more platforms you have, the more content is needed, right? And content does not comes only from visuals or photo or interactive content, but also from text, right? So this is where copywriting plays an important role. Okay, in digital marketing, even in marketplace like Lazada or Shopee, the ability to convince your consumer via copywriting is also essential, right? So today we are going to look at some of the important elements of good digital copywriting. And as a matter of fact, this is one of your assignment that you have to do. If you remember, in your assignment handbook, I've given you a task to write copywriting for different platform, from website to marketplace like Lazada or Shopee, right? And I think for advertisement. Okay, so each of these platform will require a slightly different format of copywriting. Okay, so today we are going to learn on the principle of writing for your web audience. Okay, also I would also include, besides website, I would also include some other things like advertising, short advertising, as well as marketplace. And then which types of web copy are available, right? What are the different types of web copy? The basic of HTML for formatting online text, how to write for search engine optimizations, and the best practice for online copywriting. All right, so what is defined as online copywriting? Okay, as mentioned by Shasha just now, as well Deborah. So the answer was correct. It's any online promotional written communication. So it's a written based communication, bukannya oral. Okay, technically it's persuasive in nature. It has the objective of getting people to do some action, whether to buy or to subscribe or to enroll or anything. But it is encouraging people to do something, right? And it appears in different platforms, like I mentioned just now, across many platforms like website, email, or blogs. And it is actually a specialist skills. To come up with good copywriting, it is actually requiring for you to undergo certain training. Tapi today, anyone can write on these different platforms. Okay, if you open a Shopee account, then you have to write for your product. If you have your Facebook account, then you have to the product. But then, having said that, you need to still undergo certain training to make sure that whatever you have written serve the online market consumer. Otherwise, the message cannot get through. Okay, so it's a specialist skills. I have a few of my students now working as a copywriter and they earn quite a lot. Tapi dia kena pergi ke certain courses, right? And most importantly, they have to be creative lah in coming up with the content. Di Malaysia mungkin orang prefer content yang berbeza berbanding dengan other parts of the world. So this is one of the things that you need to understand lah. Language is complex, right? Jadi penerimaan sesuatu masyarakat itu mungkin berbeza-beza. Kita mungkin suka sensasi lah and so on lah. Ada yang menulis lebih style dia kepada informatif, so dia tak ada yang sensasi semua, jadi dia informatif. So it depends. It depends on your ability to understand the product target market. Okay, and copywriting consists of two types, which is long copy or short copy. All right. Okay, so where do you find it? Like I mentioned just now, you could find it everywhere, almost everywhere in online platform, whether it's in your email, you have to do good email with copywriting, web, your blogs, your online advertisements, and even your articles, right, that you publish. So these are all copies. Dan dia memang sedikit berbeza lah berbanding dengan you menulis secara printed copy. Dia ada sedikit berbeza. Alright, so let us look at the core principle. Like macam saya mention tadi, it's a specialist skill. So it's not just merely writing dan describing your product that you want to sell. But there are certain what we call certain principles that you need to follow. Right. So outlined in your textbook, there are 6 principles for good copywriting. Okay, it range from your ability to understand your audience, right? And then looking into the types of copy and also how to write for it. And okay, now principles number 1 is related to writing for an audience, right? In marketing, in any marketing subjects that you have undergo, probably you have heard many times that knowing your audience is vital, right? It's vital. And then why you need to know your audience, because it will guide you in developing your content, right? It will help you to organize your content that makes sense to audience, and it direct the expressions of your copy to your audience. So the copy will reach the audience. So understand that you are writing not for you to be happy with the product, but you are writing for your audience. Okay. It will help you to develop the strategy. It will help you to organize the content more sensible to the audience, and you can use a more direct expressions of your copy for your audience. So itulah kena faham writing for audience. Okay. For example, these are some of the 5 WH questions that you can ask yourself when you write. Who are you writing for? Okay, iklan ni untuk siapa? Siapa yang nak baca Facebook saya? Do I have specific target market, or my target market is as broad as possible? Well, it depends on your products as well. Okay, yang saya ambil dekat sini produk yang sangat spesifik lah, macam baby kit. Okay, tapi kalau you menjual contohnya biskut hari raya yang macam baru-baru ni, so your target market is very broad. Okay, yang broad. So it could be ranging from ladies or men ke yang nak beli biskut raya. So dia besar. So ask yourself what you're writing for. In my case, specific case that I'm using is I want to target the first time mom, right? And questions yourself, what is the main message? Notice that I use the word main here, right? When you write a copywriting, make sure you know what is the main message that this copy wants to deliver. It is not possible, and I strongly and discourage you if you say that I'm going to write everything about my product. No, be specific in writing your copy. What is the main message? But you can elaborate, but make sure you know the main message. So it is impossible in one copy that you say that you want to introduce and sell. You want to introduce sales and create loyalty. Cannot, right? Um, a good copy is a copy that has specific message. For example, you want to introduce, right? You want to introduce your product, okay, and you want to encourage subscribers, then it's okay. Or you want to introduce your product and to get and to encourage for purchase. Okay, so be clear about the main message that you want to get across. Okay, so for example, in this my main message is I want to sell, and I want to tell people that my baby kit, the product that I'm selling, can help you. Right. So thirdly, it is very important before you start your copywriting to know the audience is by taking into account where will this article or copywriting be published? Where will it be read? Will it be read in a forum, a website, a social media, a marketplace like Lazada or Shopee? Because it will varies. It will varies in terms of how you write later. And then when is this relevant? When is actually time? It's a time-based decision. So when do you want to publish this? Is it during a festive season? So now if you're selling Hari Raya, kue biskut Hari Raya, then you want to do it during the festive season or during the Ramadan, okay, month. Okay, so identify what's relevant. But in the case of my baby kit products, maybe the issue of time is not when to publish is not, but then maybe to cater to the specific client's time, which is immediately before or after a birth of child, right? And so why is it why ask yourself why is this product important, okay, and basically what's the goal. So because in this case of my product is that why is it important, because I want to serve the first mom, right? They need the helps of all my products. So once you get this, when you have this idea, you should feel better, and you should have some grounds in your writing, right? So once you are clear about who, the what, the when, the why is it relevant, and where will you be publishing, so then you have some idea, right? Actually, the first step is the most difficult step, because it's sort of like setting on what you want to do, right? And then the second is basically the audience of one. All right, so the basically we understand that the internet has lead to people from global we serving the global market, right? How it is a big one, like many mentioned, many articles have mentioned, is a big one, but it could be a very vaguely defined crowd, which means that if you do not have specific target, it will be very cumbersome for you. So that's why the first is just now is to understand your target market. Although it's big, right? People always say that, oh, the internet is big, the potential is huge, right? But it could be cumbersome. Because you do not have a clear target market. It's just too big, right? So what you should do is that to create or to identify the niche audience. Which specific audience are you looking at? So this make what we call personalized marketing become more granular, right? Make more possible to do that. So what we need to do is we need to understand the audience, our audience persona. Who is our audience? Okay. So this is, for example, related to our persona lah. Like my new baby kids just now was primarily for young firstborn mother with firstborn, or mothers lah who have just given birth. But then in a big market, you probably have more than one, right? You may probably have from casual business user, or you want to have specific. right? Specific personas for people. Like Shopee's, if we can imagine, Shopee have probably hundreds of personas of clients that they try to cater, from the youngs until the old people. So that's why they still have the mechanism of cash on delivery, because probably the old people do not know how to use the online banking, right? So these are some of the things that you will have to narrow down. So remember, the first question was just now, identify this market segment. So the second step is, after you have identified who you're going to serve, now we try to understand their characteristic by asking, for example, their gender, how old are them, what is their demographic background, what is their psychographic background, their lifestyle background, right? How do they make decision? Do they pay by your credit card or debit card, or they prefer to be COD, cash by delivery, right? And then do they compare? Do they do comparison, or are they loyal, right? In choosing you as the company. So these are some of the things that we need to consider before we also look at developing the copywriting. All right. So we look into the type of copy, the copies that we have to do. Okay. So basically, they are the principle is to communicate a good intended message. A writing must be clear, must be concise, must be easy to read, well written and well structured, right? And they are usually long. They are long copy and short copy. So what is long copy and what is short copy? So short copy is few sentences. As the name goes, short, few sentences, and it must be direct, to the point, and action oriented. Okay. For example, a short copy may only consist of call to action, the title, the subject lines, the search advertisements, and social copy. Whereas a long copy, ni maksudnya dia short lah. Macam kita tengok iklan iklan di dalam internet, when you have banners and so on. So there's a short copy. Even in social media, sometimes they do short copy as well, right? Whereas long copy, okay, is basically a longer piece of writing. So it is like a blog post or newsletter or press release. So that's a long copy. Okay, so we can do both, right? We can do both depending on our capacity, right? But what I see now, the applications of short copy and long copy would be varies, right? Companies tend to push long copy for website as well as for blogs, and then they start to focus more on short copy in the marketplace or auction place, right? Okay, so short copy, like I mentioned just now, they must have a call to action, right? So what is a CTA? CTA on a website is an instruction. So the word instruction there, to the visitor, in order to encourage them to take some action, right? So the CTA is very important because it will direct the user to do whatever action they want, right? Call us now, find us more, text us, WhatsApp us, all right? Subscribe to our newsletter. Okay. So where do you put? It would depends whether you want to do. Usually people do at the end, at the end of the description. So whether you can buy now and so on. But and you have to be very careful in selecting your call to action. I think a couple of weeks ago, there is one entrepreneur, small medium entrepreneur. He approached me and said that, can you help me with my Facebook page? He's selling some herbal medication, herbal cosmetic lah for the men. And then I say, he showed me his Facebook. So what actually his frustration is, okay, people like he can see that people likes, but then when it comes to closing the deal, sales, sort of like he lost it. So when I look at the call to action, it was unclear about what people has to do, right? The call to action is basically order us now. So how do we order, right? So maybe you want to just put order us now and just give the link to the shopping cart, right? So and he's now revising. I'm not sure how the outcome will be. So that's why what I'm trying to say is pick up the right call to actions. Okay, so let's see, for example, this is one of the call to actions that we can see. See whether they can still come up with the okay. Sekejap ya, saya nak pergi ke laman web tersebut. Okay, so saya nak tengok ke, if you remember, there's one article from Wix, there's, I think it's great. Yeah. Alright, so Wix is a website design company lah. Right, so I'm sure you have seen all this kan, yang gambar-gambar ni. So this is call to action lah. Right, so this is alright, so dia memberi contoh beberapa company yang mempunyai call to action yang kreatif. Alright, so for example, like this, right, create. So dia suruh you create. Dia mesti perkataan tu kena kata kerja. Okay. Slack is where your future works, right? Simplify your works, right? CTA delivery or carry out. So nak tahu sama ada nak hantar ataupun nak bawa balik. So yang ini request for demo. The CTA is to request for demo. Okay, so get started, request for demo, right? So kita kena clear dengan apa sebenarnya CTA yang kita nak. Kalau macam Zoom, dia nak suruh kita try lah. Why Zoom? Right, why Zoom? Okay. Yang ini adalah kepada donation. Donation. So dia very clear apa sebenarnya dia nak suruh you buat. Okay, kalau chef and dish. Okay, chef and dish. Dia suruh you booking class. Booking class dengan dia. See? Book your private cooking class. Clear kan? Jadi nak suruh buat apa? Okay, nak belajar masak. Okay, book cooking class. Okay. Kalau nak suruh buy now, contohlah, tapi tak sesuai lah buy now. So, kita kena actually it's very important sebab kita nak kena decide consumer buat apa. So for example, kalau macam ni level, dia nak suruh kita call. Let's talk. They want to talk to you. They want either via chat or they call you. Alright. So yang ini is to shop. Alright. Okay. Yang ini is to take actions. Alright. Untuk betulkan you punya website. Okay. And shop online. So itu yang common lah. Right. So these are example of different what you call the CTA lah, yang specific, yang sangat merujuk kepada what do you want people to do. Right. So that's why I'm saying the role of CTA is very important. So you need to determine apa sebenarnya yang you expect daripada when they visit your site. Taklah semua nak kena buy now and so on kan. Jadi this is what you need to understand. Alright. Okay, so let me go back to my slide. Alright. So nampak tadi berapa kreatif kan? So maksudnya kalau you ada restoran, contohnya you ada restoran, takkanlah you punya call to action tu is just visit us now kan? So definitely when people go to restaurant, they would ada juga perkara-perkara lain besides visit us. So maybe boleh jadi booking with us now, right? Or you want to say apply for reservation ke? So dia kena be very clear on the call to action. Alright, so let's see, and I have few tips that I've gathered on designing good CTA. Okay, satu tips pertama, bila you want to use CTA, have the CTA on every page. Right, maknanya setiap muka surat tu of your page kena ada CTA. right? What basically you want. For example, content nombor satu, apa CTA dia? Macam tadi you tengok donate now, book classroom now, shop online now. Okay, so nanti dekat page kedua apa nak buat? Could be the same, it could be different. Okay, so this is what I say, begin with the end in mind. So begin dengan apa yang you nak consumer capai pada penghujung sesi tersebut. When they browse your website, at the end of the day, apa yang you expect? Right. Now, it's always advised to start with a verb. Your CTA with a verb. Like macam you watch just now, donate now, book with us now, shop us now. So the CTA must start with a verb. So this is the one that you see is some verb that is very common online. Start, try now, download now, subscribe with us now, share, watch us, right? Shop now and order online, for example. All right, and sometimes it's good. Okay, you can use this if you have a sense. If you have limited times of period, then you can create a sense of urgency. Like I've seen Watson punya beberapa online advertisement sempena Hari Ibu. So actually they have until 8 hari bulan Mei for all the discount. But they create the urgency like valid until 8th of May. Only 3 days left. So they create the sense of urgency. So people would do something because tak banyak masa. If I don't have time to browse and so on. Okay. All right. You have to, of course, you have to make it visible so people must clearly see. So that's why it's usually the call to action use a contrast color than your website or then your and then any other activities in front of the on the site. Okay, so it has to be very clear like this, and very clear. Okay. So tips number 5 is that to minimize the risk, right? So these are some of the way to reduce the risk of saying yes, right? So join today and enjoy 100% money back guarantee, right? Reduce the risk of saying, maknanya tak ada risiko lah bila somebody say yes, there's no, you try to minimize. So like you can give 100% money back guarantee, right? For 30 days. Okay, you can use our product first. If not happy within 30 days, then we give you a money back. Right. If you don't get a result by whatever days, by 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you will 100% get your investment. Right. Start free trial, no credit card required, no software to install and so on. So this is the techniques or tactics that can be used to minimize the risk whenever people say yes. Right. Okay. So like I mentioned just now, short copy in terms of the titles and the synopsis. The title and subject lines are very important because it will tell the reader whether what should be read further. All right, and you can look at this here. Sama issue dia. Guide to online copywriting. 10 steps to online copywriting that sells. Which of these headlines sounds more interesting? Number 1 or number 2? Boleh tulis dekat chat. Nombor 1 ke nombor 2? Nombor 2. Ya. Kan? Kenapa you say number 2? What makes number 2 more eye-catching than number 1? Okay. Keywords. Azlan says keyword sells. Okay. Alright. Yeah, it is simple. Dan ada satu lagi, I think because the word, you have some sense of directions. Right? You have some sense of direction. So example macam, okay, you know that I'm going to have 10 steps. Betul, Arif. Okay. You ada, kita have some set of directions that, okay, I need to do these 10 things to get my, to produce a copywriting that sells. Right? Rather than guide to online copywriting macam, how long do I have to read this? Okay, can. So be clear. This is what I mean by having a clear copies lah. Right. And then we say that for short copy, right? Try to make it to be more. You can make it. Sorry, for short copy, you can also use it for search advertisement as well as social copies, right? So search advertisement, which we will learn later, is if you use it in Google Ads or any other online advertisement. So this is an example of Google Ads. So kalau kita tengok dekat sini, bila kita cakap Google Ads, right? Google Ads ni they have very limited space, right? And very limited space, limited number of words, right? To get your message across, right? And there are thousands of competitors to compete with your ads. So these few lines needs to make sure that you do go top in terms of your investment, right? So for example, we will learn later how many number of character that you can use. So for example, electronics for £1 or less, right? Save up to 80 ringgit, 80%. So that's very clear. That is very clear in terms of the ad. You can buy electronic less than £1, although sometimes it's probably not true, but it sounds so catching that, less than £1, right? And save up to 80%, right? So that's the headline. It's full of description. Okay, and then they have the descriptions of the product. Right. You can also use short copy in social media posts, basically in Instagram or Facebook and so on. So Instagram probably you do not have to describe a lot, but you use a lot of hashtag. But if you're using Facebook, then you probably have to be a bit explanatory, lah, right? So some of it is, for example, look into the possibility of using hashtag. Create a shareable, personalized, and appeal content. Okay, you want to avoid too promotionally promotion content and to have a protocol in online communication lah. Right. Whereas a long copy, that's that's short copy. So short copy dia ada headlines, kemudian dia ada descriptions. So headline ni tadi macam saya kata kena be very clear and very specific. Dan dia punya body tu kena describe the product lah. Okay, now let's look at the long copy punya call to action. Right, so long copy as the name goes, and probably you guys tadi dah aware, long copy ni boleh berlaku dekat surat khabar, dalam email, dalam press release or any. Okay, jadi dia panjang sikit lah, dia bukan snapshot kecil. Okay, it allows you to expand on idea, build brand personality to engage readers. So it needs a strong headline and really good style in writing to ensure people continue to read. So macam this is for example Starbucks has usually very sweet kind of copywriting. Dia panjang tapi dia very full of information, right? So macam ni kan, give from heart, and then they describe the product tu apa, chocolatey cherry goodness, dan tu. Okay, caramel. Okay, so discount. So everything is in the copy, right? So let's go. Right, and then we have 22.5 is that you need to understand on how to write for in digital. So there is different way on how we write online, okay, dengan offline. Right? Saya nak tunjuk ke sini. Just let me show you this one. Sekejap. Sekejap ya, saya nak pull out the slide. Okay, Alexa. Okay, Alexa ni is one of the website company, right? As well as oh my, oh, oh, they closed the blog already. Hmm. Oh, dia dah tutup lah blog tu. Okay, so tak apa. Let me find other resources. One of the things that kenapa saya tekan drum ni? One of the things with writing dekat dalam tadi dalam Alexa tu bagus tapi konten dia dah tak ada dah. Okay, right. So this is web copy. Sama je ni, right? Lebih kurang yang atas. Tapi saya nak tunjukkan di sini. Tip number 13. When you write long copy, of course the CTA tu memang kena ada. Tapi one of the important thing is that you want to optimize the engine for your content. Right. Okay. Make sure you ada keywords yang sesuai dekat headlines. Right, keywords ini adalah apa yang menggambarkan the products that you sell. Right, so make sure that you have the keywords lah. Jangan just tulis sales 20%. Okay, but sales apa? Macam tadi kita tengok kan, sales of electronics product 80% sales and in less than £1. So itu penting. Right? Jadi what I'm trying to say that bila you buat di copywriting tu kena make sure ada keywords yang digunakan. Okay. So okay, check your CTA is working, whether it's outdated or not, samalah. That's why saya kata yang paling penting sekali adalah the CTA, the call to action is very important because it will sort of like give you directions about what you are going to do and also your consumers gonna do. Alright. So to conclude on the copywriting is that kita kena faham that online copywriting is basically the foundation of a website or any online platform. So dia macam the focal point of the page lah, right? And pay attention to the headlines headlines or the subheads, right? Because this is where people usually will catch first. So good online copywriting can make the difference between sites that attract regular traffic and become stagnant. Okay, so whenever you write, have the reader in mind. Okay, kita bukan tulis untuk diri kita, tapi kita kena tulis untuk orang lain. Okay, copy should be strong, clear and easily readable. Right, so kita kena faham bahawa people do not read entirely online, people scan. So kena pakai selected keywords lah yang menyebabkan orang akan faham lah. Right, our copywriting. Okay, so that is about copywriting. Sebenarnya dalam assignment yang saya beri tu, saya ada bagi satu assignment lah untuk you practice on how to write your copywriting. So you can try and then boleh rasa lah, boleh you can challenge yourself lah. It's actually quite challenging to produce one line of copywriting kalau kita tak biasa buat. Alright, kat sini tadi. Okay. Tadi kita ini writing on mobile. Okay, writing on mobile nanti kita akan tengok. So nanti writing on mobile is after this. We will look. Tapi kalau saya boleh sentuh dekat sini sikit. Okay. Okay. Mobile ni nanti kita boleh tengok bagaimana kita nak squeeze all the text. Macam kita boleh in some of the page you will probably have to write different content when it is for mobile phone. Right? So after this we'll look into mobile. Alright. So ada apa soalan tak tentang copywriting? Okay. Okay. differences copyright and for copyright or copyright? Oh, okay. Okay. Alright. Ada beza. Dua ni perkara yang sangat berbeza. Satu, copywriting is what we learn today lah. Which is copywriting. Copywriting ni adalah penulisan. Like what we learn today lah. The short copy, the long copy. Right. Copyright, okay, is hak cipta terpelihara or trademarks. Okay. Right, that you own these ideas. You can, okay, this is more tricky. You can copyright. Okay, you can copyright your copywriting. Okay, so ayat you tu tak boleh orang tiru. It's so unique, nobody can, tak boleh nak tiru. Okay, for example McDonald's, dia punya tagline tu contohnya. Okay, jadi tak boleh nak pakai lagi dah tagline tersebut. Right, finger licking good, for example, for KFC, dia memang trademarkkan dia punya ada file untuk copyright, so memang tak boleh nak guna lah. Okay, so ada beza of these two things. Okay, good Deborah for the questions. Alright, kalau kita tak ada soalan, maybe we can kita break sekejap. Dalam 20 minutes, dalam 3.40 kita come back for chapter kedua pada petang ni. Right? So I will see you 3.40 nanti. Okay, alright. Okay, jumpa 3.40 ya. Ya, Assalamualaikum.
Macam can you get one phone? Why I need to do it? Okay. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Can we start? Oh, jap, saya kena ambil charger. Okay, kita boleh mula We record first. Okay, Assalamualaikum. So now we are going to move into chapter 7 of your textbook that specifically discuss about mobile channels and apps, right? So as the name goes, okay, the learning objective is basically to look at the specific mobile channels, right? And recognize it as an important location for marketing nowadays. As a matter of fact, more and more people are accessing internet via mobile phone, right? And to consider what to consider when you are creating an apps. Is it compulsory to have an apps? right? And what are the steps that you can do if you decide to move your marketing to mobile marketing, right? I would like to start with an important landmark lah, in mobile marketing field. Previously, when Google index a page or a website, they index solely on websites that we built, right? So mobile was not a priority. Yeah, you can have your website in mobile appears in mobile phone. True. Okay, but now since July 2019, Google has transformed its algorithm. Okay, nobody knows Google algorithm. Okay, tak, nobody knows. Kita tahu cuma mungkin 10 je kot daripada beratus-ratus algorithm yang mereka ada. So starting July 2019, they have started to move into what they call mobile first indexing, right? Which means that it enabled by default. So it says that by default, new website, right? Kena ada or they have the priority to be indexed by Google if it appears in it has a mobile version of the site. Alright. Okay, so it says that mobile first indexing is enabled by default for all new website. So website dia assume memang kena ada mobile version. Right. So why was the decision made? The decision was made because more and more people are accessing information or internet through their smartphone. Jadi Google feel that it is important for them to appreciate this.
Hello and welcome to Webmaster
Can you hear the video?
This time we will talk about mobile first indexing.
Boleh dengar video dia tak?
Many of you may already know ongoing effort by Google for several years. So what is mobile first indexing exactly? Let's look at how Google indexing works. First, Google will crawl URLs from your site with the desktop and mobile user. With the original desktop first indexing, the indexing system will get the page information from the desktop page content. Finally, the page will be shown in the search results if the information has enough relevance for user queries. With mobile first indexing, the indexing system will look at the mobile page instead of the desktop page for information. Well, now that we know the difference between desktop and mobile first indexing, what challenges can occur with mobile first indexing on your site? One possibility is that something is going wrong when we crawl with a mobile Googlebot. The request might be treated differently by your server based on the user agent, or something else might be going wrong when making a request to the mobile pages. Then, if that happens, there will be little to no information that we can get from the pages. And if that happens, we can't get the necessary signals to show your page in search results. Another possibility is that your mobile page is having content issues. We might get less or maybe even incorrect information from your page, which results in us getting less information about the page's relevance. Both situations will prevent Google from serving your site well when your site is enabled for mobile first indexing. Now, that is something that you probably want to avoid. So, how can you avoid issues like that? For example, you may have put the following rule in robots.txt under your mobile site. It tells Googlebot not to crawl pages under your mobile version. Or if you add any of these meta tags on your mobile pages, they tell Googlebot not to index these pages. Those settings will prevent Googlebot from either crawling or indexing these pages. So please don't set any of the mobile pages you expect to appear in Google search up like that. For another example, if you put the following rule in robots.txt under your resources host, it tells Google not to crawl any files under mobile-css. If you add any of these meta tags on the mobile pages, they would tell Googlebot not to follow any of the links on these pages. Those settings will prevent Googlebot from crawling the resources. If you let Googlebot crawl resources for your desktop page, you should probably also let it crawl them for your mobile page. Otherwise, it cannot understand your mobile page as well as your desktop page. To conclude for mobile crawl issues, you need to check your robots.txt files, and you also want to be careful with no index and no color tags for indexing. Please also check if your hosts have enough crawl capacity to handle as many mobile crawls as they handle desktop crawls. Setting mobile page content correctly is as important as setting the mobile crawl correctly. Our general suggestion is to make sure your primary content is the same on desktop and mobile version. Let's look at some cases where it might not be the same. Let's say you have a desktop page that looks like this, with several images and some text. But then you make your mobile version look like this, with only 2 images and very few text. Users need to click the plus button to let the rest of the page load. However, Googlebot won't click the button to load them, so all of the unloaded information is invisible to Googlebot. A special note, if it's your intention to have less content on the mobile page, please be aware that Google might not be able to serve your site as well as for mobile first indexing. That is because we cannot get the full information from your site as we did before. Headings are also important for Googlebot to understand your page. This is a good example of heading. It uses the good old H1 tag. Well, this is not a good example. Regardless of its class, Googlebot will treat it as if it is normal text rather than a heading. It will then affect how Googlebot understands the page. So don't forget to use semantic heading tags on your mobile page. If you also care about image and video traffic of your site, you need to do some extra checks for them. For example, this is a good example on how to define an image, while this is not. Because the alt text is empty, it will be a bad experience for some users. Neither is this one, because the alt text is not meaningful. People don't know what the image is about just looking at the alt text. So please don't do that. Also, don't do it this way either. That's not even a semantic image tag. Googlebot cannot index CSS images like that. For images and videos, another important thing is to check their position on the page. Let's say you have a desktop page like this, with the video at the positions, while on the mobile page, you put an ad on the top of the page like this. Users need to scroll down a lot to finally see the video here. Imagine what they would feel like if they were only searching for the video. So please don't let your mobile pages have such a bad user experience. Finally, it is better to do some extra checks for invisible parts of your page. They won't affect user experience, but they will affect how Googlebot understands them. One such example of an invisible part of the page is structured data. We suggest you keep structured data the same on desktop and mobile pages. The other one are meta descriptions. Please don't forget to add them to your mobile pages. They matter a lot as well. If you want to learn more about mobile first indexing, check out the...
Alright, so daripada video tersebut, we can hear what are some of the challenges lah that we might have as Google starts to do mobile first ranking. So satu dari segi design, macam tadi dia katalah kalau you ada layout, katalah you ada layout gambar kemudian description, gambar kemudian descriptions. Tapi you menggunakan mungkin 2 instead of 3 gambar itu dalam you punya mobile platform, that is not suggested sebab and then you letak tambah plus kan, maknanya if you want go then you scroll down. That is basically not advisable lah. Dalam WordPress memang banyak teknik ini, tapi saya pun tak berapa gemar sebenarnya teknik tersebut kerana dia tak boleh, Google tak boleh crawl. Google tak faham bahawa tanda tambah tu adalah untuk you press, tekan dan akan dapat information. So dalam kebanyakan website builder yang built-in lah yang saya ajar dalam kelas ini, memang dia terus responsifkan site tu kepada laman web lah. So kalau kita tengok contohnya dekat dalam wix.com, maybe some of you have tried, you boleh tengok dia auto responsive. Even Canva pun kalau you buat pakai Canva pun dia auto responsive. Contohnya, okay, kalau saya cuba tunjukkan bagaimana dia auto responsive. Okay, katalah ada ikan sini. Okay, contohlah. So, ini saya pernah buat dulu. Okay, so ini gambaran dia. Okay, gambaran dia daripada sekejap. This is how the site looks kalau dia tidak dalam bentuk mobile. Okay, kalau dia dalam bentuk mobile responsive, dia akan jadi, sekejap saya tekan di sini dan dia ada automatic. Lama dah saya tinggalkan Wix ni. Dalam assignment yang saya bagi dekat you all tu pun ada juga saya minta untuk you all buat laman web satu. Jadi dekat situ you all boleh practice lah bagaimana nak jadikan dia mobile responsive. Usually it comes with memang mobile responsive punya features lah. Just trying to figure out kat mana dia punya. Tak nampak dia punya header kat atas ni. Let me stop sharing. Secret. Saya tak jumpa kat mana dia punya tukar daripada tu. Tak apa, saya tunjukkan you all yang Canva punya. Kalau Canva punya pun sama, dia boleh auto responsive. So that is one of the way. What I'm trying to tell you is actually this is one of the way yang mana you boleh avoid lah the problem of responsive or not non responsiveness dalam untuk laman web. So kita nak elakkan tak sama. Kalau boleh memang biar perlu sama for your website as well as your mobile website. Okay. So yeah, I was playing with this just now. So katalah hari tu saya cuba buat by Canva and I was trying to tengok dia punya ni lah. Okay, so you boleh tengok dekat dalam ni yang dia pilih lah. So that is how the desktop looks like. This is how it looks on tablet. Okay. This is how it looks on tablet and this is how it looks on phone. Okay. So macam ni. Okay, dia dah siap dia punya features lah. So that is how dia, tapi Canva ni dia tak berapa what we call as comprehensive as other website builder lah. Just for fun ke sekejap punya site pun okay. But I prefer if you use like Wix, dia lebih comprehensive lah features dia. Okay, so where was I just now? Okay, so that's the one thing Daripada segi structure kena maintain sama. Okay, dari segi structure kena maintain sama. Dari segi content pun kena maintain sama. Okay, dan visual pun kena maintain sama. Okay, so and then so ni tadi video yang dengar lah. So ada implikasi lah, ada implikasi. So which means that now you have to pay more attention to the appearance of your website on your mobile devices. Okay, so kita tahu mobile technology have all these features. It's something that personal, your handphone is personal, something that you always carries on, something that equipped with so many features including built-in payment features. Macam-macam lah dalam tu, social things happen. So geolocation, augmented reality semua boleh berlaku. So that's why bila kita kata tadi Google, kenapa Google moving, because more and more people is accessing information on the internet via their mobile phone. So Google being a company that pledge right to deliver information, dia nak carilah daripada mana sources yang paling banyak kita boleh dapat info. So you cannot carry your desktop. Itu masalahnya. Jadi tapi people are using it. Okay. So mobile method tu anything lah yang basically guna mobile, selalunya is your phone lah, but it could be also your tab and so on. Now sekarang ni dah banyak what we call technology yang berkaitan dengan mobile. Not only that your phone, we have what we call the beacons too. Sekarang ni beacons ni macam more like a Wi-Fi, tapi dia transmission dia lebih jauh lah. Right, beacon technology. So they can basically is a hardware transmitter. The transmitter, okay, dia one class of Bluetooth low energy devices that broadcast identifier to nearby portable electronic devices. So you can carry that beacon tu, right? Beacon tu, and then they can be used dekat tempat public ataupun yang lebih ramai lah. Okay. And then we have what we call mobile technology juga yang membolehkan marketing aktiviti pemasaran berlaku through augmented reality, virtual reality or even mixed reality. So HoloLens ni is one of Google's punya product, which I think personally dia akan jadi murah lah.
HoloLens.
You dengar kan dia cakap kan?
By Microsoft. I've been working with this device for quite some time.
Can you hear the video?
Very HoloLens. Like this thing.
Yes, sir.
I can put it on the HoloLens, start scanning your not only your environment, but also your hand. So
Okay, look at the video. Apa yang dia nampak tu? Right. Kalau daripada marketing perspektif, this device akan digunakan in future if you are working in ID or in tourism ke apa for services it's good for visualization. So you tak payah nak set up exhibition punya field.
basically this is a version of Windows that runs on HoloLens. They want to grab show it in the browser, I can download app against the box. HoloLens, yes.
Sorry. Okay, so macam itu dah depan you dah. So dia memang will be future things for marketing lah. Kalau you dah tak payah nak buat show ataupun exhibition lagi dah. People can just. Now the trick is with all these devices is that it will get cheaper. Right, it will get cheaper. As the technology goes, you probably will be able to find this dekat Shopee pun. Right? Tapi the trick is the algorithm and the systems. Okay, yang perlu dibuat oleh the developer. Kalau yang you beli dekat Shopee yang harga dia significantly murah, mungkin dia tak ada banyak content lah as they have this, right? And if you can Google HoloLens, it has now being used it is a Microsoft punya produk lah. Dan dia telah digunakan dan bakal digunakan dengan meluas dalam medical, right, in medical and also in manufacturing, right. So kita bercakap tentang remote way of doing job. Dah sampai ke situ. Dah sampai ke situ. Yang ini at least you ada depan mata kan, right. Tapi when we say about remote job, you can do your things when you are in other parts of the world, right? So that is not impossible. It is possible to do that sekarang. Okay, so that is what we mean by mobile technology. Sekarang when we define mobile technology, dia bukan sahaja smartphones and so on. Okay, dia are just quite a number of devices yang digunakan untuk memudahkan pekerjaan dan juga memberikan advantage kepada pemasaran. Right, let me just show you how it has been used, right, and will be used more in the future. Sekejap ya, saya show the video yang okay. So this is a device, a combination of 5G technology as well as HoloLens kind of technology that has been used by several university as well as hospital, right, to do operations, right. Lagi besar dekat operation theatre. So notice that dia pakai gadget. And he needs all the info. Somebody else is doing it lah. Because dia cuma dia boleh memberi advice at that scenario. Okay, so that is what in future lah dia akan berlaku begitu. Alright, so dia that's what I mean by the mobile device in future will be more than just your handphone lah. Dan dia akan digunakan dengan lebih meluas, considering lots of people will be using mobile phones, okay, in their life, right, or any mobile devices that they can carry. So memang this market untuk mobile ni memang sangat besar lah. Dan I myself I cannot visualize apa lagi yang akan ditambah lah dan digunakan. It's the HoloLens is very interesting. So you should kalau boleh lah you boleh Google, you tengok apakah yang teknologi yang lagi digunakan. It's from Microsoft. So if they can produce a computer, a system, that is not impossible that in future that HoloLens will take off, right? So kadang-kadang bila kita dah ada so many things that we have mobile things, we ask ourselves, is it website still relevant, or kita kena ada website sahaja, or kita kena ada app sahaja, or should we have both, right? So the answer is kalau boleh, if it's still possible, you can have both. If you have resources in terms of finance, right, you can have both. Right, and majority of company is actually opting for both. Majority of big company is opting for both. However, if you're a first timer, right, you're a first timer, and probably you are small, then you can decide to choose either one. Well, probably for not an apps but social media ataupun websites. Okay,
And then bila dah okay, then you can progress lah, right? Another thing yang mungkin kita boleh discuss bila kita bercakap tentang mobile phones, mobile marketing, is that the appearance of push notifications, right? Push notifications ni, although sometimes it has the intention to serve as a reminder, but over 50% of users find that push notifications annoying, right? So as in 2005 here, 50% was saying it's annoying. Only few says that they are grateful. A couple of few says that they are productivity enhancing, right? And maybe some others lah, maybe it has no effects on them. But overall majority says that push notifications are annoying lah, dia tak suka. So if we adopt a mobile marketing approach, kita kena ada KPI lah, not just kita buat apps lepas tu kita buat site kita more responsive. Okay, so apakah cara untuk kita measure whether what we're doing is correct or not, right? How we look at that, kita kena tengok the data yang kita ada. So there are 6 category of tracking mobile apps as a successful or not. First is the general mobile apps KPIs, which is number of downloading, right? Berapa orang download your apps, number of stars. User engagement KPIs, like how many actually users response to your apps, memberi feedback, kena review. The revenue, okay, whether they purchase the in-apps purchase or they purchase the apps. The UX, whether people are having experience. The marketing KPI, like the sales and so on, and also the star ranking category dalam you punya Google Play Store ataupun Apple Store, right? So these are the things that you need to know bila you nak buat mobile marketing. These are the KPIs yang you kena tahu. Tak ada, it's not means that you buka je apps, you develop je apps and then it runs. No. There must be certain measures that you evaluate the effectiveness of your KPI. So like I said just now, mobile ni at the moment kita memang stick to phone lah, right? But in future there will be more item of what we call, right, the mobile technology. So it will be more challenging lah untuk marketers sebab there are going to be more and more platform for us to tap the market. So and see when Google has moved to another what we call another strategy, which is mobile first indexing, then we do not have choice but to what we call to approach this options, which is mobile options. Okay, so that basically covers a very small topic of your mobile chapter as in chapter 7. Okay, saya rasa yang itu saja untuk chapter 7. Ada apa-apa soalan tak? Sebab kalau tak ada soalan, saya ada nak maklumkan sedikit. I will be doing your mid-semester exam secara minggu depan lah, lagi 2 weeks on 21. So that will be covering the 4 chapter that you have for week 1 and week 2 punya meeting. So that means daripada ialah minggu, if you see my notes kan ada ikut minggu kan. So minggu 1, minggu 2. Yang I remember the last one is website design. So today's topic memang tak masuk. So there will be 40 multiple choice questions for you to answer. And we will answer and do it during the class lah, bila class tu dijalankan. Okay, so ada apa-apa soalan tak pasal your mid semester exam? Ya, betul. 21 Mei.
Ini chapter masuk tu.
Boleh cakap kuat sikit, saya tak dengar.
Banyak chapter yang masuk doktor.
Oh, chapter tu yang minggu 1 dan minggu 2. How many hours for the paper? I think you need only 1 hour for the paper. There's only 40 questions, so saya tak rasa banyak, tak, you memerlukan masa yang lama lah.
Ya Debra, sekejap saya. Ya, objektif, betul. Ya, Google. Sekejap saya pull out my ni. Okay, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 5 dan chapter 6. You boleh tengok saya punya nota dalam Google Drive tu, saya dah susun ikut meeting kan. So meeting 1 and meeting 2, which is 4 chapter lah. Ya, betul. Betul, Debra. Semua multiple choice. Okay? Boleh?
Doktor nak tanya, before we start class ke after we finish the class?
After.
Okay.
I'll be covering maybe one topic on SEO. Okay? Masa tu you all belum face to face kan?
Face to face.
Face to face ke?
Rasa ada lecturer kata face to face only untuk final exam je doktor.
Oh, I see. Okay, sebab susah juga sebab you all kan di merata-rata tempat. Okay, so I assume we'll be online. So we'll be having the exam online. Okay, alright. Okay, kalau tak ada apa-apa, saya rasa yang itu saja for hari ini. So I hope that you will continue with your assignment. Saya dah buatkan folder lah untuk you all submit assignment for your assignment individu, assignment kumpulan lah. So nanti you will submit dekat situ sebab saya rasa lately ni the e-learning tak berapa stable, so saya tak nak ambil risiko lah. Okay. Alright, so kalau tak ada apa-apa, I think that's all for today. Thank you very much. So I'll see you in